No. I'm going to give haircut to the principal. Then you're going to get... אם לא, אתה עושה לו ככה. Okay. Let's go. We spoke last shiur, last week. Last week, we analyzed the concept of who's going to be seduced. We explained Rashi, Ritvo, and Tosfot. Be'ezer Hashem, this week I want to focus on the principle, where do we know Isur Ichud? So you all learned, hopefully, the Gemara in Masechet Avodah Zarah. And over there we see the evolutions of Yichud. Yichud in the Torah begins by a wife, Arayot, Erva, and then Yichud extends to, after Erva, so that's only on Eshet Ish, let's say, and then it says Eshet Ish. That was the original Isur of Yichud of the Torah. Then Yichud expands to Pnuya, a single girl. And then Beshamayim Beisilel Mei Takana, the Yichud extend even to a Goya. If you would have asked me, I would expect Yichud to begin by Goya. Where it's easier to sin, who is easier to sin with? A Goya. She has no problem. To the extent the Gemara says that even though a wife, she is a shomer to her husband, but a Goya woman cannot be shomer for her husband. So for example, if a Jewish lady wants to enter into a house of a couple goyim who live together, as a married people, she cannot go there because he might sleep with her, with the Israeli lady, Jewish lady, and his wife cannot really hold them back from doing it. By the way, the reverse doesn't apply, which means if David goes and giving a quote on a house for shades, and the husband and the wife over there, the husband can protect his wife even by going. Meaning the husband controls the wife doesn't control the husband. By Jews, the wife controls the husband. But so by going, so if David goes to give estimate by a house and the husband and the wife over there, he has no problem, because what's the concern of a Jew who walk into the house? Am I going to be with her? Her husband is not going to let it happen. But if David's sending a sales lady and she wants to go there, she cannot go inside. Because now where is the problem? The man might going to sleep with her. His wife does not protect him. Doesn't treat her as anything to be protected. So, but we see the evolution of Yichud begin by Eshet Ish, continue by single woman, and ends by a Goya, which my logic would be exactly the opposite. A Goya, and then a single girl, there's no problem with a man, and then Eshet Ish. Which that brings into the following question, that if you think the Torah decided that Eshet Ish, there is a problem of Yichud, nachon? Why Chachamim adding Pnuya, a single girl? Meaning, if the Torah said the problem of Eshet Ish, what's the characteristics, ma ma'afyenim of a Pnuya? Is that a fence to Eshet Ish? Because what's Chachamim adding, usually it's fence. So is a Pnuya prohibition, it's so you shouldn't be with Eshet Ish Yichud? Or it's an Isur by itself? Just Pnuya you're not allowed to be with. If you're saying that Pnuya it's a fence, it makes sense. Because Chachamim don't make up their own gzerot in the Torah. So if you said the Torah said Eshet Ish not allowed to be with a man, Chachamim said, by the way, also Pnuya. So if you put a fence, people are not going to be with Eshet Ish. That makes sense. But if there is, Chachamim established that there is an additional Isur on Pnuya, where is this Isur came from? How can Chachamim made up Isurim? If the original Isur of the Torah is by Eshet Ish, why Pnuya would be a problem? She's not a married woman. This is the opening understanding of the sugya. So where this yichud begins and coming from. So let's go back.
Are you asking if Pniyaz should not be a problem because you can marry her? Because
Stam, if the Torah said Eshet Ish זה בחנק. The punishment is חנק. פנויה זה לאו אולי של זונה, זה מחלוקת, האם בדין זונה או נידה. If she's not נידה, So I can understand why Eshetis is a problem and Pnuya is not a problem. So why is Chachamim adding a new Isur? And if it's offense to a Eshetish, it's not an Isur. But that seems to be just a new Isur by itself. So I want to start off the Gemara. Let's read through the Gemara. You all did the Gemara, I think, in Pei Amud Bet. We all did it. And let's go step by step. Things don't flow and don't make sense. So after the Mishnah that the man, by the way, lo yityahed adam, let's start from the Mishnah. I want to go Be'ezer Hashem about 10, 12 questions, just to open up what's going on in our Mishnah in the Gemara. Lo yityahed adam im shne nashim. A man is not allowed to have yichud with two women, אבל אישה אחת מתייחדת עם שני אנשים. One woman can have yichud with two men. So interesting that the Isur over here, if you pay attention, question number 1, why did Torah give the Isur on him? Where the Isur? Who is the Isur? Men and women not allowed to be together. So it should have said, lo ityachadu. If you read, and Rabbi Eleb emphasized that to me today, you don't see halachot for a woman not to have yichud. The whole halacha is, a man shouldn't be with one, or a woman allowed to be. But there is no Isur, the halachot doesn't mention the Isur of a woman, lama lo? She has the same Isur than us. So you read the Mishnah, לא יתייחד אדם עם שני נשים, a man not allowed to have yichud with two ladies, אבל אישה אחת מתייחדת עם שני אנשים, one lady can have yichud with two men. רבי שמעון אומר, אף איש אחד מתייחד עם שתי אנשים, whatever the pshat is, not for now. בזמן שאשתו עמו וישן עמהם בפרודתי, מפני שאשתו משמרתו. So רבי שמעון brings a nudin, that a man not allowed to be with one woman, נכון? But if his wife is with him, his wife protect him. And when a wife protecting her husband, only by a Jewish guy, by the way, all of the halachot we're learning, אנשים נורמליים. People are parut and, they want to be allowed with ladies, those halachot does not apply. Even many men cannot be with many women, כן? לא שייך. But, so if his wife is with him, we said it's fine. Now, the Gemara, the Mishnah bring another detail over here. If his wife is with him, she's a shomer to him. Why is the Mishnah bringing the din? He can sleep with them in a hotel. What's the hotel has any relevance?
Sleep with them, sleep in the hotel.
Meaning, sleep in the same room in the hotel. So why? No, but again, זה all יסוד of Rabbi Shimon, שאשתו שומרת עליו, נכון? If the wife is watching her husband, מה זה משנה איפה זה? What's the whole punditki story come into the game? We go in weiter, מתייחד אדם עם אמו ועם ביתו. A man can sleep with, can have yichud with his mom and his daughter. וישן עמהם בקירוב בשר, can sleep with them without clothing. ואם הגדילו, when they grew up, זו ישנה בכסותה וזה ישן בכסותה, each one needs to have his own clothing. Let's start the Gemara. The Gemara asks my time. What's the question of the Gemara, my time? How do you understood? Afi, מה זה my time? What's the reason of what? Right. My time means, what's the reason שלא יתייחד אחד עם שתי אנשים? If so, what's the answer of the Gemara? What's the real answer to my time? Why a man לא יתייחד עם שני אנשים?
They're easy to convince.
לא?
No promise on him, not them.
Why a man כן? למה למן אסור יתייחד עם שני אנשים? רבו ישראל.
He might come to me.
No, what's the simple reason? לא, כן, לא, זה לא התשובה.
שלא יתייחד.
לא, למה לא?
בתור הסל.
התורה אומרת לא יתייחד. מה הגמרא אומרת עכשיו אנשים דעתן קלה? That's not answering the question of the Gemara. My time, what's the reason? It's not נשים דעתן קלה. Because the Torah says that אסור שיהיה ייחוד. We don't make up איסורים on our own. You want to explain the reason of the Torah? Explain to me after. You bring the מקור of the Torah and tell me. יש, לא נראה. לא, נדבר על זה אם זה מקור או רמז.
ייחוד is what they were saying, אחד על אחד. Man and woman. but it's
יפה.
two women.
מסכים איתך.
So two is that's and call, that's why.
אבל my time, you make up your own איסור, but then the Gemara asks later
Why
on.
is it two women?
אה?
It's not ייחוד, it's already two people in the room.
ייחוד בתום ממני זה מחלוקת אם זה מהתורה או לא מהתורה. כן? סתם אצלנו זה מחלוקת. חב"ד מביא שזה לא יהיה מהתורה, אבל פה משהו שזה כן. But the simple pshat, my time of איסור ייחוד. That's the mission of איסור ייחוד. You need to tell me the Torah says you're not allowed to have ייחוד. Now you want to know what's the logic behind the Torah, give me the logic behind the Torah. But the actual foundation of איסור ייחוד should not be brought, that shouldn't be the first answer of my time of נשים נתן כלה. Okay, then we go forward. By the way, all this concept in נתן כלה, how do you define, what's כלה כבדה? מה זה קל, כבד? meaning, נשים דעתן קלה.
Easy going.
איך נשים ענת איזה גויים. We married.
They can be convinced
No.
very easily.
Huh?
They can be convinced.
So
very
why do you call it da'atan kala? You're right, they can be convinced. What's it, the meaning?
convinced easily
Light
to do
head, da'atan kala.
don't
So
think a lot.
it's interesting that we mentioned the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat bring the story of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai when he was hiding from the Romans. So his wife used to bring them food. He told his son, look, nashim da'atan kala. If nashim da'atan kala, don't worry, you know what, let's go and hide in the me'ara so we wouldn't get in trouble. So you see the same word da'atan kala, we'll get to it. Then the Gemara go to the next question, mena hanemili. What's mena hanemili means? What's the question of mena hanemili?
שאסור
What's the
באמת.
Makor?
מנה למילי שמה?
What is it?
אסור להתייחד? מנה למילי is supposed to follow the previous sentence. אה? Oh. מנה למילי שדעתן קלה. Now you give me a riot to your logic from the Torah?
What's the answer?
אז זה answer, זה בעיה. אז יש ספר שנקרא יד זעירה. I never heard about this book, but I saw it in the אוצר החוכמה in the computer, and it seemed to be like very big חושב book, and he said you have to remove, he said, זה טעות מנה הנמילי. You have to take it out. כי באמת זה לא, that's not a kasha for what you just said. You said, מה הייתה משהו בדעתן קלה? מה אתה אומר עכשיו מנה הנמילי? That's not answering the question של נתים בדעתן קלה. Weiter, what's the answer, let's say? So whatever you understand the pshat mena הנמילי, how do we know that either איסור ייחוד או אנשים בדעתן קלה? So that's Rafi question and everybody shaile. אמר רבי חיים משום רבי שמואל, רמז לייחוד מן התורה מנין, שנאמר כי יסיתך אחיך בן אמך, וכי בן אם מסית בן אב אינו מסית, if your brother, the son of your mother will seduce you to do עבודה זרה. וכי בן אם מסית, only a son of a brother from a mother will seduce and a brother from a father will not seduce, אלא לומר לך, I want to teach you, בן מתייחד עם אמו, only Ben allowed to have ייחוד with his mother, ואסור להתייחד עם כל הראיות שבתורה. All of the other הראיות הם בתורה, לבן אסור להתייחד. So Ben allowed to be only with his mother, not שאר הראיות שבתורה. So question number one is, מה אתה אומר לי מניין? And you give me רמז. מה זה רמז? I searched it up. It didn't come up that in all of the shas you have question מנה נמילי, and the Gemara answer, רמז. Whenever the Gemara bring a case of רמז, it's the Gemara asks, רמז ליחוד מן התורה מנין? כתוב ככה וככה. But we never see in the Torah that you ask מנה נמילי and you end up by giving us רמזים to מנה נמילי. The question gets stronger as we see the Gemara in Shabbos. We also at דף כ"א עמוד ב', the Gemara says very clear, שנידה אסורה מדאורייתא. נכון? אם נידה אסורה מדאורייתא is not רמז, it is actual איסור מהתורה. So why are you telling me רמז? And we see it also in, we'll get afterward, תוספות, and there is a מחלוקת, most of the poskim hold that ייחוד אסור מהתורה. The Rambam sounds like that מדרבנן. יש מחלוקת על הרמב"ם, we'll get to it בעזרת השם in the next שיעורים. But the simple pshat, we see from the Gemara very clear, ייחוד אסור מן התורה. The Gemara says very clear, אסור מן התורה. And what's the מקור שאסור מן התורה? רמז. אז זה לא אסור מהתורה, זה רמז. מה קורה פה? How can you answer a question as a רמז? Going weiter. I had another issue with this, hold on. Okay, the לשון is וכי בן אם מסית, בן אב אינו מסית, that was the language, נכון? אלא לומר לך, rather to tell you. The word אלא לומר לך, I don't think it's the appropriate words. I think it should have said אלא משמע. The pasuk doesn't tell you this message, and that should be the foundation kasha. You're learning a source for yichud kacha? Since the Torah talks about somebody who seduced to do avodah zarah, and it's mentioned over there, the son of your mother, you're learning the principle of yichud. מה הקשר? מה הקשר בכלל? What's the connection between the whole issur of yichud to this pasuk? The Gemara goes weiter and it says, what's the simple pshat of the pasuk? What the Smoger says? The simple pshat that pashta dekra b'mai bai, what's the simple pshat of the pasuk? Omar Abaye, lo mibai k'amar. לא מבאי בן עבדי סמי אלא the son of a father who hates him, ועץ לעצות רעות וגנים ובad advice. אלא אפילו בן אם דלא שניא לה, son of a mother that is not, doesn't hate him, אי מצייתי לה, maybe you should listen to him, you try to seduce him, כמשמע לן, that he cannot. So basically, so the Gemara is telling you, the pshat of this pasuk is talking about אח שמסית, who seduce another brother, convince another brother to do avodah zarah. And since he mentioned over there ach of a mother, you're learning the dinei v'yichud, but it has nothing to do with it. Meaning, there is not even a hint to dinei yichud. The simple pshat, מה מדבר? Remez is within the simple pshat. There is nothing to do with the simple pshat to teach you principles of yichud b'chlal. A father, a son of a father can be seduced, and a son of a brother from a mother will more likely not to hate you, and that's why you should listen to him. How do you know that תסע מתאחד עם אמא שלו? There is zero indication in this pasuk בכלל. So, it's not that the kasha was מנען אמילי, we answer רמז, גם אין פה אפילו רמז. Nobody in the world will read this pasuk, and it's going to come, meaning, my question is, Rabbi Yechanan, Rabbi Shmuel, how did you came up with this chap? Where do you see it in the psukim? You make up stuff, and we need to deal with it now. Where do you see in the psukim that really there is a remez? There is any hint בכלל for ייחוד over here. There is nothing ייחוד. He said, son of a mother, מתייחד. איפה אתה רואה פה בכלל מילים של ייחוד? Quick.
How come there's another rabbi that says, no, learn from a different pasuk, from Yehuda?
Yeah, there is none, yeah. לא, שמה כן, נדבר על זה שמה, אבל בפשט הפסוק, anybody agree that there is a din of ייחוד.
There's no other opinion.
אתה רואה שהבן קרוי עם האמא.
So, what really bothers me, let's talk about a brother שמסית, to seduce another brother. בסדר? So if one brother seduces another brother, who are you close the most? To the brother from your three options. A brother from your father, a brother from your mother, and a brother from your father and mother. Full brother. Full. The Gemara doesn't say that. The Gemara says only if it's a brother from a mother, then he can seduce you. But if he's from a father, למה רש"י אומר?
There might be competition.
נחלה.
Why? Because nachala, if the inheritance is not going to go to him. So that means that if you have a full brother, the Torah doesn't expect you to listen to him. If you have a half brother from a mother, you're more likely to. Does that make sense? You are much closer to a brother who's with you than a brother that is just from your mother. Why did the Torah say that you will listen to him? If it's only halves, either from a father or a mother, I can understand. But that includes also a full brother that you will listen more to half a brother. Doesn't make sense.
No, but Rabbi, doesn't it not have to do with closeness? So the Gemara says that because he's basically in a fight with you over the nachala, he's going to give you bad advice.
Yeah, but you don't see people usually fight over nachala. Meaning, people, who do you get close? Who would you listen to? Somebody that's close to you. נכון? The farther away from you, the less you're going to listen. Okay, big kasha that Rabbi Chagai asked, and obviously, the Gemara conclude over here, you see, Ben מתייחד עם אמו, נכון? So, Ben מתייחד עם אמו, נכון? What about Ben עם אחותו?
דאורייתא אסור.
insister, לא, אח עם אחות.
אין בעיה.
אח עם אחות. אין בעיה, נכון? אבל אני אציין את הפסוק. מה הפסוק אומר? בן עם אמא שלו, נכון? אוקיי. מי אמר לך? Yeah, is that very good.
Daughter is a sister.
מי אמר לך את זה? מה הפסוק אומר?
אין ביתו.
לא, זה מה שהמשנה אמרה.
כן, אבל אם ביתו
הפסוק talks about בן עם אמא שלו. Well, how do you know? How do you derive this פסוק בכלל לאחותו? To the extended family.
יותר חזק, אתה רואה שרק עם אמא מותר לו. בשאר הראיות אסור, אולי גם הראיות זאת אומרת אחותו אסור גם.
Yeah, אחותו should be אסור, אסור לה להיות איתה. Maybe it would be אסור. It's unbelievable. Okay, so in order to understand Rabbi Yisai, we need to get into the foundations of Yichud, but a step before, the desire. We all read our Gemara. Desire. We all read a Gemara that we read a Gemara by understanding that you, hopefully every one of us, have no desire to his mother, נכון? So בן מתייחד עם אמו, נכון? באמת, the Gemara doesn't say that. The Gemara says in Shabbos Kuf Lamed that after Matan Torah, everybody were crying. וירא את העם בוכה למשפחותיו. People cry for the family. It says Rashi over there, and the Gemara in Shabbos Kuflamed, על עסקי משפחות. למה? Before מתן תורה, אחות שלו, דודה שלו, מותרת לו. It's מותר to him. And now, אסור. By the way, that's his proof שתורה משמיים. למה? Hashem gave us the Torah. It makes our life miserable. They were crying after the Torah. If it was a made-up event, nobody would follow it. It must be a real event, mishamayim. Because even the message was very tough on them. After Matan Torah, everybody started crying. Achi, no more my sister, no more my aunt. You know, they couldn't take it anymore. So that's very clear that it was a full desire to a sister, to everybody around. The Gemara in Sanhedrin, Samech Daled Amud Bet, Amud Aleph, I'm sorry, the Gemara says over there, that famous story that and Nevi'im were able to catch the Yetzer Hara. And they would hide the Yetzer Hara into a barrel. בפנים, בתוך a barrel, they put a Yetzer Hara. And they were trying, so the Gemara says when they put him in a barrel, for 3 days, they couldn't find any egg. Because there was no intimacy around the world, because there was no Yetzer Hara. So they wanted to kill him halfway, but אין חצי. So the Gemara says that they כחלו את העיניים שלו, they blind, or his eyes. Ahane delo lidgaru inish bikrovatayu. It was helpful that people are not going to start up with their relatives. Which means, up to the point where Chachamim blind the Yetzer Hara, we had full desire for a mom and a sister. It is, now you don't have it, אין לך יצר הרע. כמו שאין לך יצר הרע לגבר ויש כאלה שיש להם, אז...
כי הם חולים.
בסדר, אבל לא, לא, it's balance. כן, גם את היצר הרע של עבודה, לא, אז לא יכולים, יש יצר הרע, הוא לא חולה. אבל זה יצר הרע עבודה זרה. אוקיי, רפי, that's reality. So was Yetzer Hara so the Gemara says that the Yetzer Hara for family relatives ends only way later in history. Shechachamim, I think it's a Nevi, the Gemara uses the word Nevi'im, but it sounds like Anshe Knesset Agdola.
מישהו צריך לעבוד על החשמל וישר הטסלה
come back, hello, זה לא... Okay, so Anshe Knesset Agdola, so that means that a man has always desire for his mom and desire for his sister. But the Torah says, Mityached Adam im imo. How is that possible? We always understood that the logic behind Yichud im ima, sometimes you have no desire for, and that mutar or sister, and that's the heter of grandparents. In this week parasha, we have the 7 relatives that Kohen allowed to be mitameh. It's the cycle of a man. My son told me in first grade, his Rabbi Levin, told him kacha, מה זה 7 relative? Brother and sister. No, father and mother, brother and sister, son and a daughter, and a wife. Those are the circle of a man of relatives. So we always thought that the relative that are on a man are mutar להתייחד למה? כי anyway, you have no desire. Meaning, man, mother and sister and grandmother, you have no desire for. However, we see very clear when the Torah allowed you, even though there is a desire to a mother. Because only later on in history, they took out the desire of Yetzer Hara of relatives.
You mean being with the mother?
Being with the mother, which means the Torah was matir for you, Yichud, with somebody you have desire for. How is that possible? So if so, what's the logic of Yichud? I always thought the logic of Yichud, people that you have no desire for, but we see you have a desire, and they respond of Yichud.
למה היית חושב שייחוד זה משהו I don't have desire for?
Because that's what today, mother,
No, it's a
the logic. למה אז מותר? למליך השקלה, מותר להיות איתה ביחד. If somebody has desire, maybe it's אסור. Yet the Torah said that it's mutar, so why it's mutar? So if you have a desire, and those are mutar, so we need to find out what's the reason that those are mutar? What's the logic behind it to be mutar?
Even if you have desire, like what are the chances of that happening? It's probably much harder. It would have been much harder to get
to a mother and a sister. You're right. You have less chances, but I want to discuss that for a second. What you said. The Gemara says, "Legabei hasata," to seduce somebody to do avodah zarah. There is a special thing by the son of a mother. What special thing about him? yeah, if he convince you, you don't listen to him. Why the Torah need to emphasize, says the Gemara? Because if somebody who did Avodah Zarah, you will convince you. If your brother, son of your mother, will convince you to do Avodah Zarah, you will intend to listen to him. Lama? Because he has no reason to hurt you. My boys, I pay attention. The principle of Yichud is, will he hurt her or not going to hurt her? The mother and the sister. The Torah says that for Avodah Zarah, any brother who has any gain by hurting you,
Interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Physically, emotionally, what kind of
No, so like we said, if you die, he has a gain that the inheritance is not, you're not going to get the inheritance. So anybody who has such a thing that if you die, he has no gain of the inheritance, that's clear to everybody that he has a reason to hurt you. Somebody will gain from you being hurt. You have your own fences to screen the information. So if it's going to come to convince you to do Avodah Zarah, you will have the boundaries. But the Torah says there is one case in a brotherhood that a guy will have no interest to hurt you whatsoever. If somebody has zero interest to hurt you, it's somebody that you might intend to pay attention to and to listen to. Because he's not biased. He has no gain. Whatever you do doesn't make any effect on him. A brother from a full brother, there is an effect if something going to happen to you. Yerusha. A brother from a father, there is an effect. But a brother from a mother, there is zero effect if anything going to happen to you. That means if he convinces you, you should listen to him because he cannot ever hurt you. And he has no gain to hurt you. So the Torah still don't listen to him. Says the Gemara, this is the principle of Ilchos Yichud. How do you define Ilchos Yichud? Rafi, what's Ilchos Yichud mean? When it's mutar, when it's asur. Says the Gemara, you see Ben, son of a mother, Ben והאימא allowed to have yichud together. How come you allowed to have Moshe? How come you allowed to have yichud together? Why it's okay? You have desire for her. Lama it's mutar?
Because she would never want to hurt you.
You will never hurt your mom. That's a new definition for yichud. Wow. If you will never hurt people who are close to you the most, you will never hurt.
Is that why you're allowed to be with your wife during Nida?
We'll get to your wife. We'll get to your wife.
Doesn't that part of it?
I just started. Let us continue and then. Which means, Rabbi Isai, all this din of Ilchos Yichud, what's mutar, it's people who are going to get hurt the most. People that you don't want to hurt. What asur, people you will be okay to hurt. So, which means, Rabbi Isai, we redefine Yichud. We spoke about it last week on a sentence, and Avram, you emphasized it to me when we went out to eat. Yichud means you hurt somebody else. The reason you're not allowed to have yichud with somebody else, with a woman, because you're going to hurt her. Yeah, she's not going to hurt you. A man who slept with a woman is obviously it's asur, but it's not to the same effect on him is not on the same effect as it's going to be effect on her. The principle of yichud, how do you affect her? What are you going to do to her? And the more you're going to affect her, the real issue of yichud. So let's go back. So we're learning the principle from a brother who will convince his brother of Avodah Zarah, the son of a mother. He has no interest to hurt him. Says the Torah, from here you're learning the principles of yichud. That yichud, it's about, you're allowed to have yichud only with people that you will not going to hurt, which is your mother. Now we understand why this is extend to the surrounding mother, daughter, sister, grandmother, or people who are close to you the most. Aunts, in the Spanish community it's a different story, but aunts, the second level generation, you're not as afraid not to hurt.
Second cousin?
In the second level generation, meaning the second level, I'm saying aunt. Your aunt, a doda, okay, you're not as close to her. You don't care about her. Who do people do you call you care the most? People who are close to you, which is mother, sister, and daughter. This is where the circle is. Now we understand when the Gemara asks, Minayin Menan Emili, how do we know Yichud? And we said Remez. Is it Remez or Minan Emili? The Gemara says, how do we know Minan Emili? It's not only the technicality of Yisur Yichud. How do we know in Yisur Yichud מה מותר ומה אסור? That's a Minan Emili. לא סתם האיסור של האיחוד. סתם of the איסור of ייחוד, you don't need a רמז. You need to know it אסור להתייחד. But the Torah built the foundation of Yichud into the story of Hasata. That's teaching you that the whole principle of Yichud, any man that you're not going to hurt, mutar to have Yichud. People that you're not as concerned to hurt, asur to have a Yichud. Oh, that's answering. Why all of the Mishnah it's about him, not about her? Because
She can't hurt.
You're not going to get hurt from sleeping with a woman as much as a woman going to get hurt. Anyone who's sleeping with a woman is hurting her. Shaila is she stupid? Who wants to get hurt? מה פשט דעתם קלה? מה זה דעת? So Rashi brings in אבו לכם, פרשת דברים, אנשים חכמים ונבונים וידועים לשבטיכם. מה זה חכמים? חב"ד, מה זה? חוכמה, בינה, ודעת. What's חוכמה, בינה, ודעת? That's Chabad. חוכמה, בינה, ודעת is the basic ספירות. חוכמה means, so the way Rashi explained חוכמה, it's interesting. He compared it to a money exchange. A guy who sits on the table, he has a business, his money exchange, and customer comes, he exchange money. That's Adam Chacham, which means he knows how to process what's going in front of him. That's called Chokhmah. Bina, wisdom Bina, it's the Chenvani, when he has no business, he go out there to get people to give him business. That's Chokhmah Bina. מה זה דעת? דעת, so let me go back. חוכמה, it's what's in front of me, I know how to deal with. Bina, I can bring things further. Da'at is to see future. Da'at is to speak today. So somebody at the second level of Bina, so he has no business today, ma will say, he goes outside to get business. Da'at is today going to make sure that tomorrow is going to have business. That's Da'at. To translate in our world, a worker, how do you get compensated as an employee? How do you define what's the formula of compensation for employee? How do you compensate Shlomo?
His value.
How do you define what's the parameter to compensate value of people?
Responsibility.
Hour. How much you going to give per hour?
How much
So I tell you what, I'm looking for specific ones. It's not fair to tell you no for every answer you're going to say. So good friend of mine, the mentor who helped me a lot in the business, Sabi Behar, the father of Daniel Behar, is not here today. So his father, when I was in Yeshiva in 2009, he helped me. He had a big operation. He helped me a lot in business. So he told me, how do you compensate an employee? What's the parameter? The farther the employee looks, the farther the compensation would be. Take a cleaning company, okay? The guy who cleans now, he doesn't think about the end of the day. He just cleans now what he needs to do. That's the smallest amount of pay. His manager will think about today and tomorrow, further, he getting paid more. Why manager of McDonald's getting paid very low rate? Because they have nothing to think of tomorrow. McDonald's builds on a system so well that you don't need to think, just follow instruction. The only thing the manager has to do, make sure what's here clean by the end of the day. He has zero worries about tomorrow. That's why he's getting lower pay. Why the CEO of McDonald's getting paid so much? I mean, it's a low cost food, right? No, because he needs to think so far, so his compensation is much higher. I used to have a guy who used to work for me, and he was managing an area, and then he came over one day and said, I need a raise. I said, why? He said, I'm working so hard, I'm picking up the stuff, I'm bringing them over. So I said, I need to reduce your salary. He's like, what do you mean? I'm working harder. I'm like, look, the harder you work physically, the shorter you see. Then your compensation goes less. If you work physically, CEOs do nothing, נכון? Why they drop dead by the age of 60? Because they're overthinking the whole time. The further you see, the more valuable you are to the company. The treasurer of America needs to see 50, 100 years later, 50 years, he's getting paid the highest salaries. So the further you see, that's Chokhmah Bina Badat. Chokhmah is the employee that sees today. Bina is the one who think further, okay, what's going to be in the next day or two? I have no business, I'm going to make sure that my work has nothing to do. I'm going to find a job for him. That's Bina. That, okay, let me plan ahead. I know that in 3 weeks we have an event. Let me send them now to take care of the event that's going to be later. That's called Dat. נשים, יש להם בינה יתרה. The Gemara says, נכון? בינה יתרה ניתנה לאישה. She has extra בינה. What's extra בינה means? It's a big advantage and big danger. Big advantage because we men limited to what we see. A woman is able to see further the same distance as men, but way wider than a man. We see like that. She's multitask, נכון? She can see, she can tell, by the way, you're wrong, there is something later. She sees it wider. So many times she's exaggerating what she sees.
She has the dot built in her bina?
מה אתה אומר?
יש לה dot built
לפני הדת. חוכמה, בינה. דת, I'll get to her in a second. The characteristics of ladies, they have too much, their bina, it's way spread. Men's bina, it's direct and further. A woman bina, it's the same distance, however, way wider. If you're putting dat over chokhmah and bina, what happened by a woman? It's dangerous. Because what's that? To calculate future. But you got to calculate future within the boundaries of today's direction. If you calculate future too wide, you can't reach future. Everything going to be mixed up, which means the emotion of a lady give her ability to see it wider, but to have that further, she cannot contain all of the. It's too wide for her to contain everything further. That's why a woman is very emotional. You never see a CEO woman. If you see the company is not functioning, or she's whatever the other side, because a regular healthy woman, she sees wide. Wide you cannot see further. You got to be direct in order to see further. That's that.
It would be too overwhelming for her.
Yeah, she wouldn't be able to contain. It's too wide. So you want the bina of a woman. Bina, for example, when you have a meeting with an employee, when I hire important people, I always bring them to my house. I want my wife to see them. משהו לא מריח לי. מה לא מריח לך? מה, כאילו, מה? No, something doesn't work. That's bina. She sees wider, I can't see it. אני ככה, we are חמורים, you know? חמור רואה ככה. She said, why? They have a way to see all over. So they give us information that we can't even understand, but we need to understand that we have bina. לא, אתה לא.
One time I met a person, I was like, wow, I really like that guy. He's such a good guy.
חמור,
He's like, why? He treated his wife like this, he treated his kids like this. I'm like, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, they have all power.
I mean, what are you talking about? He's a good guy.
So, but when it comes like that, you don't care. But when it comes to you want to make a business decision, and your wife telling you, no, don't do it. This is a problem. This is a problem. Like, leave me alone. What do you want? You're holding me always in life. But a smart man, if the wife gives those wide, take the pieces, agree with her, condense it, and now use your dot on top of it. But she cannot bring a dot. That's what business management ladies וכולי, they're not good at. Nashim datan kala means if a woman use dot, she calculates future on the wrong way. That's datan kala. Because how are you supposed to calculate future? It's supposed to be heavy. You have to take everything into consideration. But when you lie, you calculate future on a very easy way, and therefore you get to the wrong conclusion. That means, Nashim Datan Kala, we explaining the logic behind the woman. How come Adam HaRishon was able to convince את האישה ולא את האיש? Because she has בינה יתרה. She thinks way ahead. By the way, she used extra word. What did she say? You're not allowed to eat from the tree, and you're not allowed to touch. That's the bina. You need to add more areas, yeah? This is where he proved her wrong. And this is where she fell. So the Atan Kala, in simple words, if we can define it, it's not be able to foresee future. She sees today more than future. Therefore, says the Gemara, למה לא יתייחד אדם עמהן, מהייתיימה לפי שדעתן קלה. מה זה דעתן קלה? Which means, any man, on simple words, can seduce every woman. He can seduce his wife. Obviously, I'm sorry, his wife. He can seduce his mom and his sister. And he can seduce any woman out there. What's the reason mom and sister mutar to have yichud? Because he's not going to hurt them. He's not going to hurt them. This is from the Torah. The only reason a mom and a sister, there is no problem of yichud, because he's not going to hurt them. But without that, a man can seduce his mom and his sister, and he can seduce anybody around. Says the Gemara, my time, what's the whole logic of yichud? Because nashim da'atan kala. Nashim da'atan kala means they have a hard way of seeing a future. They have hard time looking what's going to be later. So if a man decides that he wants to be with a woman and she's in one room, a man can do it. Because there is, by a woman, you got to go around until, because she has a limited vision of seeing the future. That's the pshat nashim da'atan kala. Therefore now, the whole yisur of yichud, it's on a man, not on a woman. A woman, she's not in control. If you leave responsibility partially on a woman, a man is not going to take the proper responsibility on the yichud. We need the man to take full responsibility. This is so yichud, it's on you, not on her. Why? Because datan kala means from the first moment. For them to foresee future, it's much harder. They see present, they don't see future. So for example, yesterday I met a woman in a closed big building. So she was 75 years old, and but still, Isur Yichud applies in even 99.
Really?
So, yeah, better.
I thought once period is done, you're good.
לא. אחי, זה לא נגמר.
You're not gonna hurt an old lady either.
No, that's not the logic. No, by the way, that's not the logic. I have no desire for old women. But that's why. No, Rabbi said that. Rabbi said that's the whole point. It's not about the desire. Rafi, that's the whole principle. You have no problem? You have no problem to hurt her. No. Kilo, she's ugly. So it's not about hurting because you have no desire. It's something else. Because you have no desire. But we said desire is not the factor over here. What's the whole factor of Isu Yichud? Hurting. All right, you cannot hurt. If you think she's attractive, let's say, no, again, but now you're going to the desire. But let's assume she's attractive, okay? A man will hurt her like he hurt another woman. So that's why. So she said over there, it was a big warehouse. She said it was some outdoor couches on the floor. She said, let's sit over there in the couches. When two people sit in a couch, it's a closeness mode, nachon? She has no problem. Daiton kalo. I opened the garage door in order for just an extra, because there was somebody else already in the building moving around. It wasn't really a secure place, but it felt intimate being alone in one of the section of the warehouse with another woman. So I opened the garage door and said, let's get fresh air. I don't explain to her, this is yichud. I couldn't explain to her. But what's the logic, datan kala? She should say, lo matim. But by the way, she was frum. But what's datan kala means? Datan kala, she cannot see future. That's why the whole issue of yichud, lo yityached ish, it's on you. Don't leave anything for her. They'll say, she's a tzaddiket, so probably it's a problem, there is no problem of yichud. No. Because we're coming from a premise, shenashim da'atan kala, they don't see future. Now we understand also the Gemara in Shabbos. The Gemara in Shabbos said, shenashim da'atan kala. So it said, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said to his son, nashim da'atan kala, they're not going to tell on us. So I never understood the Gemara. Why would his wife tell bad things about her son and her husband? But mazekala, she's going to find a way. Look, I'm going to make a deal with them that if I'm going to tell them, they're not going to hurt them. Alright, נכון, we can make a deal. That's bina of a woman. She has a wife, but you can make a deal. But that means see the future. If there is any possibility of anybody getting hurt in the future, so you can make the action. Says Rav Shimcha to his son, Nashim datan kala. I'm concerned she's not going to foresee future. And she's not going to foresee future. Our life at risk. That's why we have to go. So now we understand the establishment of the Torah of Nashim datan kala. So therefore, well, Rashi said, Ma pshat datan kala, nochot leitpatot. So the way Rashi learned the sugya, it's only leitpatot. מה זה leitpatot? To be seduced. Rashi doesn't say to cover on each other. Lama? What's the foundation of yichud? She's going to do the mistake. So if you have one going to do the mistake, maybe also two will do the mistake. Now this is the important part. You mentioned it, Rav Moshe. From the Torah, what's the Isur of Yichud? Ish echad v'ish achad. That's a simple Isur. Eshet ish v'ish echad. That's the foundation of Yichud. Aval, the Mishnah start off, lo yityahed Adam im shte nashim. Why the Mishnah start off with shte nashim when the actual Isur is באמת isha achat? So here, Rabbi Isai, and I think that's a big chidush, the way the Mishnah understand over here at this point, when you understand the logic of the issue of the Torah of Yichud, you can extend it and multiply it on the same formula. What's the logic of Yichud? Because it's easy to seduce a woman that you're not gonna, a woman that you have no interest not to hurt. Therefore, if you have two, is it easy to seduce? Yes or no? Says Rashi, yes. At this point, Rabbi Isai, which means two will be asur midoraita or midorabbanon. Shouldn't be no difference. Because what's the foundation? It's not. What defines the rabbanon? Geder, a fence, is the rabbanon. But if somebody, one woman, if somebody will seduce her, mutar or asur? Asur. If there is another woman, he can seduce her, mutar or asur? Asur again. So lefi זה רבו, it's only by principle. אחד ושתיים, two women, is like two separate yichudim with two separate women, even though they are together. That's That's unbelievable. Because even two women are two separate women. Because each one, can you seduce each one by itself? Yes. You have Isur on her, you have Isur on the other one.
So there's no difference in 2 or 3.
Three? Can you seduce all three? Rashi, all no. The pshat of the Rosh. Not something else. But a man, so it says the Rosh, to sleep with 3 women, it's too much for a man. It's too much for one event. So therefore, if man with 3 women, can he seduce all of them? No. So one of them cannot be seduced. Now he's stuck. She becomes what? Shomeret. Anyone that cannot be seduced become shomeret. Ktana becomes shomeret. Therefore, 3 will be mutar. Comes out שלפי Rashi, the Isur of Yichud of 2 women will be Isur deoraita. Not only one. לכן הגמרא אומרת, מה איתיימה? מה איתיימה 2 אסור שנוחות להתפתות? As we see from the Torah, that any woman that can be hurt, and you don't mind to hurt her, אסור להיות איתה ביחד.
the hotel with his wife.
Why we bring the story of the hotel with the wife? What's the logic of Yichud now we're learning? It's about how can you seduce people, right? Can she be seduced or not? A hotel environment, by the way, unfortunately, I hear here and there, not a lot, Baruch Hashem, stories that people were cheating. Most of cases as people of cheating is during travel.
Of course.
Lama.
Because they're not in the area, they feel less.
They're not in the area. But hotel environment, it's hotel, it's too intimate. People don't see future in hotel. A woman in a city, in Chat Shalom, she is somebody, she has certain future to see. Or I'm in the city. Hotel, it's a higher level of a place. The Gemara bring the story of hotel to introduce to you the concept of the Isur over here. It's how far can be seen. The shorter you can see, the more likely people will do Yichud. Da'atan kala, meaning they see shorter. Sometimes even a man, da'ato kala. If somebody on a hotel in Thailand without his wife, without his wife, and he sees all of the behemoth over there, right, Nachon, and they come even
I
over.
didn't see any behemoth, man.
You say you weren't a
They
good
have them in
place.
the 2 box videos.
Okay, Baruch Hashem.
Kept it kosher.
That's why you went with your wife, not to see
Chabad.
not to see behemoth.
That's it.
But-
Worst I saw was
but-
the worker in Bet Chabad. That's it.
Okay. Man or woman? Okay.
I don't know.
Oh. So hotel. What is I said? Yeah, go in Thailand. Stam people cannot. There is no. Only a man can be the atokala on such an environment. The last
you go
piece.
and you move on. You know, it's fine. I'll never
there
be
is
here
no
ever again.
future. The last thing we have to understand, what's the evolution of איסור ייחוד. איסור ייחוד and the Torah מתחילים אשת איש. קם חכמים and extend ייחוד to a פנויה. So how do you understand that? פנויה באמת. According to what we said, when a man gonna hurt her the most?
When is a man gonna hurt her most?
אשת איש. Avram asked me a question yesterday on Sunday. If a man has Yetzirah, he knows he cannot overcome. And he has 2 girls. I'm presenting it different the way you ask it. And he has Yetzirah, he cannot overcome. And he has 1 woman. 1 girl that has mileage. And another one, never been with any boys. Which one, does he make a difference? Which one is going to be with?
Of course.
Lama?
Because one that's already has mileage to go.
He's not going to hurt her. Very good. It's about the only sort of yichud. It's hurting somebody else. So then you're going to hurt her much more than hurting him. Who do you hurt more? Eshet? Eshet ish is the highest level of hurting because officially she's asur to be with her husband. From now on she's asur. The only thing you need to edim. If a woman come and said, by the way, Rabbi, I'm sorry about I cheat on my husband. Ba'alacha, that's it. She cannot be with her husband. But we need to look at it. I don't believe her. Because maybe she wants to get divorced because she saw somebody else. So woman is not meant לאסור את עצמה. But באמת, any woman who slept with another man, she was אשת איש was cheating, is the highest level of hurting somebody. But this is where the Torah established that...
Pull out the water. Pull out the water.
Right.
Start sipping.
What's that? Huh?
The soita water.
The soita water. Yeah, you're right. That's all in of soita.
Drink, shakol liya bizbarra.
לא יודע, שהיא לא עושה ברכה.
לא?
זה די פומט, מאמרים. So the shaila is, so what's the evolution? I want to leave it for you, and maybe we'll get to it on Thursday. What's the evolution of yichud? How did we extend it from eshet ish to a pnuya to a goya? Should we work it out today or not? 2 more minutes? Done?
Now we have 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay.
5.
So the real shaila is, what was the gzera of Chachamim? Is the gzera of Chachamim supposed to align with the Torah? Based on what we're saying, the only issue of the Torah of Yisur Yichud is what?
If he's
The only
gonna hurt
Yisur
her.
Yichud of Chachamim is
If he's gonna hurt
is
her.
going to hurt her. Therefore, from the Torah, there is no Yisur being with, it's a man who, there is no Yisur of Yichud with a single woman, and obviously with a Goya. You can hurt a Goya. You're going to hurt.
a single woman? You can't hurt a single woman?
Not to Eshetish. The Torah said Eshetish. That's the Torah.
Back in the day, you got more than one
What's the
wife.
gzera of Chachamim? Says Chachamim,
It's chesed.
Shmuel ובדינו גזרו על ייחוד דפנויה. Okay, that will take too long. Take a look. I'm going to take quick Mari comments. The Gemara in Sanhedrin, in Daf Chaf Aleph Amud Bet, we see the ייחוד. When it was the גזרה on פנויה, the Gemara brings it in Chaf Aleph Amud Bet, חכמים גזרו על ייחוד של פנויה. After the story of Amnon and Tamar, take a look on Chaf Aleph Amud Aleph on the bottom, what happened in the story. Then we can understand what's the new gzera that came into the world. There are new information in the story that were never there before. Okay, I don't want to give it over because I want to see the Gemara.
She heard him. She heard him.
No. That's the opposite story over there. Okay, I will see it over there. I will tell you in 2 words. Over there we see the Bapnuya. Chachamim understand she got hurt. No. He refused to be with her, No, over there we see she got hurt. Over there you see from the story of Amnon and Tamar that a single woman can get hurt from a man. It's a new level of getting hurt from a man, and therefore Chachamim established that even a single woman. Ovedet Kochavim, it's a type. We'll leave it for the last year. And make sure to see, I'll give the Dharma comments now, the next year, the Rambam. He learns that Isur Yechudi is the Rabbanon Bechlal. How did you learn the Gemara Bechlal? How is that feeling? And we'll see the Mara comments.